Hello and welcome to Pravus Gaming and Plague Inc. Evolved. Yep, playing some more of this. Why? Well, the reasoning behind that is pretty simple. I had a viewer who has been going through apparently several of my older series and leaving some comments, and he asked that I play this again. Normally I wouldn't do that for just about anybody, but you know what, it kind of warmed my heart to see that some people like me enough to go through my old content, and I'm in a good mood, so alright, we're gonna play some Plague Inc. It was a fun game after all, and it also fits a little bit, because they did recently add a major update to this game and added a multiplayer function. Now, I'm not going to be showcasing that in this video, but still, it got Plague Inc. back on my radar. So we're going to play some more. Let's go into a single-player game. So we're going to be playing as the Parasite today. This is definitely not my first attempt at doing said Parasite. But yeah, that's Parasite, I think, is one of the only diseases we haven't done on this channel. That and the virus. I know we haven't done the virus either. But the Parasite, though, is fairly easy to do, I would say, on easy, normal, and brutal difficulty. Which is exactly why we're going to bump it up and go to Mega Brutal. So, as far as our genetic codes, Catalytic Switch is usually a pretty good choice, I think. Popping those blue cure bubbles will give us DNA. Toward the end game, once you started killing a lot of people off and it's hard to get enough DNA to keep your momentum going, this is a pretty good way to make that happen. It also works really well with Genetic Mimic, which makes the plague harder to cure, therefore more blue bubbles because it takes longer. So, pretty good synergy there. We're going to go for Aquasite, because I do like Aquasite. I like the idea of spreading by sea. I don't really think that Suppression or Native Biome are especially useful. Actually, Native Biome and Mega Brutal is probably a terrible idea, and I'll explain more of that later. Aquasite works, though. And Extremophile seems okay. Give your Plague a minor bonus in all environments. Should be fine, I think. Yeah. Jack of all trades, Master of none. And Symptostasis. Now, normally I would say that this is not something I want to go for, simply because it makes it easier to cure, but we need the symptom costs to stay level if we're going to be playing as the Parasite. And that is because the Parasite does not get bonus DNA from infectivity, unlike several other diseases. So keeping costs low is going to be pretty important for our strategy. Alright, like I said, we're going to be playing on Mega Brutal. There is random medical checkups, which is a bit of a problem. We'll explain more of how that works in a little bit. Now, as far as what we're going to name this, I've already picked out a name, and it shall be Nidus Worms. Why? Well, a couple of reasons. One, this looks like a worm to me. Two, the person who was requesting I play more Plague Inc. is called Zerg Merc. Zerg, of course, being from StarCraft. And what's a worm that serves the Zerg in StarCraft? The Nidus Worm, so therefore it's going to be called the Nidus Worm. Also, it's pretty fun to be able to say that I am going to Nidus your mains. Yeah, look out world, I'm gonna Nidus your mains. If you don't know what that means, then it means you probably never played StarCraft 2, or StarCraft 1 Brood War for that matter. In which case, I still love you, but at the same time, I kinda pity you. Alright, let's play the game. Welcome to Plague Inc., we are a new Parasite. So we need to pick our starting location. India, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, these are all still pretty good locations to start, I think. But I'm going to be going for a kind of radically different strategy this time around. We're going to make things a little bit harder on ourselves, but I think, actually, the best long-term strategy will be to go for a developed Western nation. Something like the United States, or Spain, or France, or something along those lines. You might say, that's silly, why on earth would you do that? Starting off in a nation with really good medicine means it takes a very long time to spread in your host country and get those early points. You're correct. But that's exactly why I want to start in a Western nation. So we're going to be picking the UK. Now, here's my thought process on this. In easy, normal, and brutal difficulty, your severity is perhaps one of the quickest ways that the AI is going to detect you and start working on a cure. So, as you start spreading throughout the world and your severity is really high, that's how quickly going to determine how quickly you get detected. When Mega Brutal is on the chopping block, though, then because of the random doctor checkups, regardless of how far you've spread throughout the world, regardless of how severe your disease is, or if it has any lethality at all, once you hit a critical mass and infect like, 80-90% of your host country, you will get detected no matter how many precautions you took. Therefore, my thought process is, start in a nation that is well developed, so it takes longer to kind of snowball out of control and hit that critical mass in your host country, and give us more time to just get a foothold in as many countries in the world before we hit that critical mass. That's my thought process. Now, why the UK specifically? Because we picked Aquasite. And with Aquasite, with 2 ports, we should be able to hit a lot of the world. So the UK is going to be our starting location. Alright. Night of Swarms begins in the UK. So, we're going to go ahead and bump up to speed 2 for now. Parasite disease type. Parasitic lifestyle prevents the player getting DNA points by infecting people. DNA bubbles are the best way to get points. Something that's true if you don't want to go for catalytic switch and pop the blue bubbles. I mean, it's perfectly okay to go for the orange, I think, but I don't know. I still like the blue. That said, though, if our strategy works, there's actually not going to be a lot of blue bubbles because we're going to kill people off pretty quickly, I think. We'll see. Alright, so starting things off, we are going to pick up a couple of symptoms for free. We're going to pick up rash, we're going to pick up sweating. Now, why these 2 specifically? Because they're pretty decent infectivity. Yes, we already have some severity, although we did start with a fair bit because we're on Mega Brutal. But also, these are 2 symptoms that will eventually need to lead to necrosis. Necrosis being perhaps my favorite way of killing people off, because even though people die, their flesh still hosts the disease, and therefore the bodies will continue to infect people. So it's not as likely that you're going to be killing people off faster than you're infecting and kind of starve yourself out. Necrosis is pretty good. The other thing that we want to talk about, since this is a parasite, is you do have a special ability, and it is called symbiosis. The parasite becomes more in tune with the host, making it less likely to be noticed. There are 3 levels of this, and this is why the parasite is really easy on easy, normal, or brutal difficulty, is because all you have to do is just invest as many points you want into all the symbiosis, and your severity will be 0 for a long time. You'll pick up a whole mess of different symptoms. Heck, you can start killing people off, and they'll have no idea it's you until it is too late. But that doesn't work so well in Mega Brutal, because you will get detected regardless of your severity and lethality. So that is kind of the crux of my strategy here. Alright, we've got 15 points. Let's go ahead and pick up Water Transmission level 1, because that synergizes really well with our Aquasite and our starting location. We are going to be working our way down water and air, of course, because those are both really solid transmission types. Let's pop that orange bubble and bump up to speed 3 for a little bit. More bubbles, more DNA. That's actually spread with water 2, actually. And after that, I will pick up air 1. Oh wait, Festival of Love in the UK. Fans praise the replacement for International Kissing Day. Critics question hygiene standards. That actually is going to tell me that we want to go ahead and pick up nausea. It's an okay, infective symptom in and of itself, but because of that event, it makes nausea so much more effective. See here, slight chance of infection when kissing. Well, people are kissing right and left. So therefore, nausea's good. Normally I wouldn't do that, of course. Normally I have a couple other things that I would go for instead, and you'll find out more about that later. Oh, look at this! Hot country is getting hotter. That's very unfortunate, honestly, because we started off in a cold nation, so we are definitely going to have to invest in some heat resistance fairly early on if we have any hope of spreading throughout Africa and a few other places. That said, though, you know, it's not like any of the cold nations got colder, so I shouldn't have to invest in any cold resistance. I likely was going to have to invest in heat resistance no matter what. This just guarantees that I'm going to have to. Alright, let's go back to our air transmission level 1. The UK, notice, we've been getting quite a few transmission and symptoms, but we're still only at like 700 people infected. It's taking a very long time, and that's exactly how we want it to go. How many points do we need for Air 2? 17. That shouldn't take too long. There we go. We just spread to Norway, and the rest of Scandinavia will soon follow, but there goes Air 2. And after this, we will probably start investing in some heat resistance so we can start getting around. We just developed cysts for free. Cysts are okay. There's no lethality to that, and it's just free infectivity. I'm not terribly worried about it. Again, we're going to get detected early no matter what, so not a huge deal. But yes, we do want to get throughout as much of the world as possible before that happens. Alright, let's go ahead and pick up heat level 1, because I feel like that's one of the main reasons that we are not spreading throughout Africa, Egypt, and else. Oh, now you may be wondering why I'm not prioritizing drug resistance 1. This will be important at some point, yes, but not right away, because again, we want to slow down our growth in the UK as much as possible. We want to take our time. If we pick up drug resistance level 1, then yes, we will spread to the other wealthy nations a little bit faster, but we'll also snowball in the UK a lot faster, and that is the last thing that we want. Alright, picking up a lot of points. We're starting to hit up parts of the world. Good. India has been infected. We're getting around a little bit in Africa. Good, we hit up Canada fairly early on. Not bad. Would like to hit more of these island nations, of course, but we're getting there. We're at 77 whopping points right now, which is good. So let's go ahead and pick up Heat Resistance level 2. And let's pick up Insomnia and Paranoia. No, not quite yet. Not quite yet. I was tempted, but no. Instead, let's pick up Coughing and Pneumonia. Pneumonia being really good in cold climates. Now, since we're not picking up any cold resistance, Pneumonia should counteract that difference a little bit, make people more vulnerable. I'm okay with that. There's Greenland, good. What are we missing? Quite a lot. The Caribbean and Madagascar and a bit of Indonesia in particular are of concern to me. You know, one time I actually played a game of this. I was doing this in preparation. This is like my 6th attempt to do this in this video here. But I played a game where our strategy worked really well, but we got unlucky, really unlucky with one country, and that was Angola of all places. The country only had like 200 people infected, they all died, and I could not get my infectivity up there. So I killed off the entire world except for Angola. Oh, they've detected us. Alright. So now we need to start looking at some other stuff. Now that we've been detected, we might as well pick up Drug Resistance level 1. That is fine. We're going to pick up Paranoia because the severity is not as big of an issue, and this makes people less likely to seek treatment, which is good for us at this stage. We're going to stock up some points, though. We're not going to go too far. Russia has started working on the cure. Okay. Have a lot of people joined in on that? No. There's a lot of potential research, but only one country is currently working on it. We still need to hit up Caribbean and Madagascar before I start going crazy with lethality. This is the part of the game where you really need a little bit of luck. I mean, this is good. I like that we just hit all these places up, but it's not quite good enough. Not quite. The heat resistance issue is actually going to be causing a lot of problems for us. We're going to be picking up Drug Resistance level 2 right away. I don't want seizures quite yet. Don't need any more transmission, I should say. Not quite yet. Hypersensitivity is really good for rich regions, and we need to spread through the rich regions as quickly as we can, because when we decide to go for lethality, we want to start killing people off right away, because the rich nations are going to be the highest contributors to this. We've just been placed on the watch list, but you'll notice that the cure still hasn't really begun at this point. We're missing Madagascar, the Philippines. Those are the two that I'm worried about. Once those two are down, we're going to be in pretty good shape. And it probably will happen, but we just need to be patient. We need to be patient. That's what Mega Brutal is all about, honestly, is patience. There they are. Okay. Saudi Arabia. Okay, so the cure has just begun in earnest. That's fun. So let's pick up seizures and insanity. Now, these two may mean that cure progress is going to be phenomenally hard to do. I feel pretty good about that. Yeah, significantly harder to cure. Alright. The other thing we're going to do is pick up skin lesions and necrosis. So now our lethality is actually a thing, and the dead bodies will continue to spread the infectivity. And we're going to be really cranking up that lethality pretty quickly, but we're still missing Morocco and Algeria, which is a little bit of a concern for me, I'm not going to lie. There's one. Morocco, Morocco, Morocco. Would you please do something? Alright. Let's go ahead and work for pulmonary fibrosis, I think, and total organ failure. The reason we're going for that right now, I know that it's a lot of lethality, and we're going to start killing people off faster than we're infecting, but we need to start killing off as many of these Western nations and these rich nations as possible so that the cure progress will slow down. If we do it right, we shouldn't ever have to pick up genetic hardening or a genetic reshuffle. But if we need to, we'll be okay. We even can spend the points on something like paralysis or a coma. Makes this significantly harder to cure. The coma, paralysis is cheaper, so I'm probably going to go for that next, so we'll do exactly that. South Africa has begun to break down. Morocco is still a problem right now. You know what? I'm actually going to go for... Morocco, Morocco, Morocco. No land borders, which means it's actually going to be kind of tough to get around there. An arid country, a hot country, rural, poor. Hot climates, poor, insects or birds, probably. Land transmission. Which one to go for here, actually? It's kind of tough. They both probably will work fine. We're gonna go for insect level 1. Wasn't planning on doing this, but I feel like we really do need that. Sneezing has just developed for free. I'm okay with that. Sneezing and... oh, there we go. There's Morocco. Okay, so as long as we don't kill people faster than it is infecting, then we'll be okay. And that looks like that is happening. So now let's just keep an eye on this and cure progress and start developing a lot more symptoms. So for example, I'm going to pick up vomiting and I'm going to pick up diarrhea. That should actually work really well if we can get the insanity and diarrhea combo. Nausea and sneezing should be a combo. Projectile vomiting, I think it is. Hemorrhagic shock, a little bit too strong. We can get coma if we feel like we are in a lot of trouble, but I don't feel like we will be. So let's instead pick up something like... abscesses maybe? Sure, let's pick up abscesses. It's really cheap. Let's also look at... tumors? No. Let's just hold off. Let's see how things are going. I'm watching that cure, but I think people are going to start dying off rather quickly. Yeah, we've already killed off almost the entire world. So Morocco is the one that we really need to watch. Nidus worms lethal. You don't say. Anemia, hemophilia. Let's go for the tumors. Let's pick up dysentery. We are now as infective as we possibly can be. And if we feel like we're killing people off too quickly in Morocco, we can always just devolve the total organ failure or something similar. But now, oh, okay, wow, we really hit critical mass in Morocco. The world's cure progress is practically non-existent. Let's go ahead and... I mean, symbiosis is totally worthless. I was going to do that for kicks and giggles, but no. Let's go for pulmonary edema, let's go for the fever, let's go for the immune suppression. I mean, who cares at this point? We are rolling in points. There's Walking Dead. Insomnia and anemia are causing people to walk around gray with tiredness. There are no healthy people left in the world, and just like that, we are going to win. Boop, 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 boop. Bubbles, boop, 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 boop. Come on, just die. Yeah, there we go. Victory! Nidus worms have successfully eliminated all life on Earth, and we just got Parasite Master Achievement. 4 stars! Not bad, all things considered. Let's go ahead and bump this up to speed 3. So yeah, I think our starting strategy of being in the UK and a developed nation so we would spread a little bit slower and take advantage of the mechanics of Mega Brutal worked out pretty well in our favor. Going for necrosis is certainly a really good strategy, I would say. And with symptostasis, that stays fairly cheap. And of course, going for insanity makes your plague really hard to cure. We didn't have to go for genetic hardening or a genetic reshuffle even once in this entire game because we took our time and we were smart in which symptoms we went after. I mean, knowing that, I feel like a lot of diseases could probably be defeated using this strategy. It was pretty effective. 583 days is one of my fastest times, I think. Cure progress of only 55%. I mean, good grief. We wrecked this. This was easy as heck. Nice. Oh, man. I do love seeing that Mega Brutal right there. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah, I forgot we did the Neurox worm on Mega Brutal already. Alright, so it's not my first ever attempt at doing the Mega Brutal, but still. That was pretty exciting. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I don't think it's very likely that I will continue to play Plague Inc. This was more just like a one-time thing for nostalgia's sake, but you never know. I mean, I could be otherwise persuaded if this video gets a lot of traffic. We'll see. My name has been Pravus, and I, as always, will see you guys next time.